Surah Al-Kahf gives the answer. You will find him at Majma'ul Bahrain. You will find him at the place where the two oceans meet. The two oceans meet. The commentator of the Quran, Imam Baydawi, has given a beautiful interpretation of this. He says that the two oceans are the ocean of knowledge which comes from external observation, and the ocean of knowledge which comes from internal, intuitive, spiritual insight. When these two oceans of knowledge come together and are integrated in a single individual, as they were in my teacher, Rahimahullah, Maulana Fadlur Rahman Ansari, as they were in his teacher, Rahimahullah, Maulana Abdul Alim Siddiqui, Rahimahullah. When these two oceans of knowledge come together and are integrated harmoniously in a single individual, that is the most learned of all men. And that's the only man who will read the signs of Allah in the last age. Harvard can't do it. This then is the function and the purpose of spirituality. Question 4. When will the last hour come? And he replied and said, the one who is questioned has no more knowledge than the one who is questioning. Meaning, this is not a subject that we should be addressing our attention to, because this knowledge resides only with Allah. Only with Allah. When will the end come? But the Quran has something interesting to say about it. It says that those in whose heart there is no faith respond differently from those in whose heart there is faith. The one who has faith always thinks that the last hour is close. Close. But the one who has no faith always thinks that the last hour is far away. And so there is a psychology of religion located in the question and in the answer. Number 4. A profound psychology of religion. And now comes question 5. What are the signs of the last day? Both the signs which are given in this answer, both relate to Dajjal. In consequence of which, this visit of Gabriel, of Jibreel alayhi salam, is giving an ominous message to us that you will not be able to understand Dajjal, the false Messiah. You will not be able to understand the world in the age of Dajjal, the false Messiah, unless and until you are blessed with internal spiritual insight. Unless you have that thing called spirituality. He gave 2 answers, 2 signs of the last day. He said that you'd find naked, barefooted shepherds. I hope no Prime Minister feels I'm talking about him. You'll find the naked, barefooted shepherds, meaning people who have the intellectual acumen of naked, barefooted shepherds. That is their intellectual acumen. You'll find the naked, barefooted shepherds competing with each other to build the tallest building in the world. To build the best airport in the world. People who have the intellectual acumen of naked, barefooted shepherds will now measure progress with high-rise buildings. Look at the number of high-rise buildings we have. Look at the skyline. This is evidence of progress. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Look at them. They don't have any skyline like this. They don't have high-rise buildings. They're still in the stage of kampung. That's backward. That's a sign of backwardness. And this is the sign of progress. You measure progress with high-rise buildings. And so they compete with each other in building high-rise buildings. But you don't have to have much common sense. You don't have to have much knowledge to know that this is false. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The best of you, the noblest of you, in the sight of Allah, is he or she who has the greatest fear of Allah in the heart. And so a people may be living in bamboo houses, but in their hearts there is the fear of Allah. And you have built the tallest building in the world, and the grandest airport in the world. And you and your companions may consider yourselves to be so progressive, and they're so backward. But in your heart there is no fear of Allah. The yardstick that the Quran uses says that they are superior than you. Has this sign already come in the world? Most certainly it has come. A mismanagement of the economy is also involved here. It is not just the corruption of thinking. It is not just people with the mental and intellectual acumen of naked, barefooted shepherds in charge of the economy and the state. It's more than that. It is a mismanagement of the resources of the society. At the same time that you're building these high-rise buildings, there are people working at something called minimum wage, and many working at less than minimum wage. What is minimum wage? It is a fig leaf to cover the economic slavery which comes with riba. The market in Islam, and someone could teach these prime ministers perhaps one day, the market in Islam is a free and a fair market. No prices are fixed, not in the market of Muhammad ﷺ. In your market, yes, but not in his. A man came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, "O Messenger of Allah, prices are too high, fix the prices, price control." The Prophet said no. The man came back a second time. You've got to be brave to do that, eh? Came back a second time. "O Messenger of Allah, fix the prices, price control." The Prophet said no. The man came back a third time. "O Messenger of Allah, fix the prices, price is too high. Establish price control." The Prophet said no. 3 times he said no. He said, "But we can pray to Allah to bring down the prices. Increase of supply would cause prices to go down." And so the market in Islam is a market in which there are no fixed prices. Not for merchandise, not for commodities, and not for labor. It's a free market. But they have to impose price controls for rice in Indonesia, for rice, for basic necessities of life. And they have to impose price control on labor. Labor. So that the laborer can get a minimum wage. But the minimum wage that they pay is less than what that person ought to get, what Allah is giving to him, with which you can maintain your